Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having a good start to your Friday. Uh, Tesla pulling back. How many of you guys checked out the unveil? So, 39,000 likes. Wow. Okay. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but wow. Okay. Kind of bummy, right? Um, Trying to read a little bit more about it. Looks like Tesla as of right now is pulling back /NG, showing signs of a very consistent uptrend pattern. It looks like it's validating the EMA line as a support. As you guys can see, kind of what's going on right here. There it goes. We'll see if we actually begin to make higher highs. Just so you guys can see, I have no open positions, no working orders, nothing like that. What happened with Gush? Um, Reverse stock split. It says in the news. So yeah, it says, where is it? Reverse stock split, leverage ETF. Yeah, reverse stock split. Yep. So it looks like it went from what, $2 to $26. So they just reduced the amount of shares available. You should understand what a reverse stock split is. We've covered it multiple times. So it doesn't mean that you made money. If anything, it normally depreciates when it does a reverse stock split. So do you still take 100K position sizes? Brandon, I don't know if you've been tuning in, but it's been about a month, and no, I have not, man. Um, I've not been taking 100K position sizes, but I appreciate you asking. I thought you would have been able to tell with the past 4 weeks of trading. So what happened to Gush? Reverse stock split, right? That is correct. Yep, nothing special. There it goes, /NG, breaking above 2.67. Yeah, take $1 million positions now. Yep. Here it goes, /CL. Showing signs of a lot of consolidation, showing signs of a potential reversal if it actually begins to make higher highs. What does a reverse stock split mean? Again, we have a video about it. If there's 1,100 shares available and they're at $1 per share, they'll reduce, if they do like a 1 in 10 reverse stock split, there'll be, instead of 100 shares available, there's going to be 10 shares available, but instead of it now being worth $1 per share, because they reduce the amount of shares available to 1/10, right? It goes from $1 per share to $10 per share, so it makes it look like it actually went up in price, or it's not a penny stock, right? But it actually just reduced the amount of shares available. So, yeah, I hope that's a good explanation for you. /NG is pushing up. UGAZ is pushing up. There's no big play that I see going on here. UGAZ is showing signs of a continuous uptrend pattern, but like we've seen many times before, there tends to be almost a change of direction, if not at or shortly after the market opens. And I don't want to end the week on a red note. So I don't want to aggressively take a position if the overall direction is not something that's super clear. So we'll see if we actually begin to make higher highs. How many of you guys were able to benefit from this big push? So actually, this came at a surprise, at least to me. This is where we were trading at. This is where we. Oh, excuse me. This is where we closed right around 63. It began to sell off. It pushed up. It aggressively sold off. So I was actually up until like 3 o'clock. And I saw that it was around this general area. We were trading below 62. And then it began to make higher highs and higher lows and ultimately just ended up changing its direction. So natural gas is short in supply. That's good. That's in favor of driving up, not necessarily the demand, but with less supply and equal amount of demand. That makes sense on why it is pushing up. So, hey, Ricky, do you think it's right that nobody outside of Europe can trade DWT or the US? Ivan, I think that's why people outside of the United States are more in Europe. We're aware that you guys can't trade ETFs, but you guys can focus on the future, right? Which just means that instead of taking the position on the ETF, you focus on the future and you take the position on the future. We have a lot of, members even within the United States that just began to trade the futures itself. We got Super Snake. We have someone in Australia. We got Danson, right? That will trade the /NG, or actually you could trade ETFs, but as well as we have Pascal. He'll trade /NG. He'll short it, right, and stuff like that. So do you focus solely on technicals? When it comes down to my approach, you should have an understanding that it's mainly technicals. But when I see fundamentals come into play, I'm well aware that fundamentals always take over if they are present. So if I do see them that they are present, as in when news comes out, when the natural gas or crude oil report comes out, or any form of catalyst as the weather report, I'll take a step back and I'll let it kind of determine its direction, and then I'll go with the flow. So. Wow, that's so cool, Abraham. So if I finish green today, it will be my 12th green straight day in a row. So I've been extra patient today. I love that. There's no reason not to be, right? So super happy to hear that. Big drop on D guys. We're trading at 116 right now. So again, we'll try to see what we have going on here. So a really big gap that it kind of built for itself. If it does end up selling off, it'd be really interesting to see this thing make lower lows and lower highs. So why did you stop trading with 100K? I don't get why or how these questions are coming out now. We've talked about this like 3-4 weeks ago, and I made multiple videos. Explaining it. So I would really encourage you to check out the videos that we've been uploading, and it goes into detail about why I began to trade with 30 to 40K per position. So, yeah. There's a video that I have about. It's not a touchy subject at all. It's just, if I'm gonna break down natural gas and then 2 minutes later someone's gonna ask me to break down natural gas, then, it's kind of inefficient. But there's a video that I have about how to make $500 a day, or how to stay consistent or something like that, that I uploaded either earlier this week or earlier last week. Check it out. I go into detail about it. I think if anything, it's kind of, a reminder for people that are trading and have some form of consistency. But then still need to get reminded that, no one has it 100% figured out and stuff like that. So, there's just all sorts of great questions, huh? That is correct, Chris. Yeah, we did talk about that already. So that's not a good sign. When a company does a reverse stock split, it's usually to increase or make it look like they are valued more per share because they were most likely a penny stock before. So looks like we're at the EMA line. It's all good. It's Friday. I get it. People just want to, get started with their weekend. No, it's all good. It's all good. I know. Do you see you guys hitting 17? I don't know. What do you mean? It's like the first day that it's not selling off, so I'm not here to predict a reversal. We talked about this yesterday. How many of you guys watched yesterday's video? And I did 4 breakdowns. This is exactly what I talked about, natural gas was consolidating for 3 days straight. It wasn't making lower lows, and it would make sense on why it would push up. Doesn't mean that it has to continue. It just means that it would make sense. So, funny questions to Ricky this morning. Yeah, it's a little different, right? Adrian, that's dependent on if it actually increased. I don't know if after it did its reverse stock split, normally it sells off. So I don't like, you should be able to do the math, right? If they did a 1/10, I don't know what the reverse stock split is. It looks like it was like a 1/20th or something like that. But if you have 100 shares and they're at $1 per share and they do a 1/10 reverse stock split and it gaps up to 10, right? To $10 per share and there's 10 shares available. So at $10 per share, if it begins to pull back and it was previously trading at $1, if it was trading at $1 and it does the split, the reverse stock split, and then it drops from $10, that means it's already dropping in price. Yes, it looks like it increased in price, but the starting point isn't $2. The starting point is where it would be right after it does the split. So that's up to you to determine. It's all different. So you have to be able to determine what price point when it did the reverse stock split, what did it open at, right? And then since it opened, is it down or up? Usually it's down. It's been very, very rare where, it does a reverse stock split and it's a positive notion for the company. That's not common, right? It's usually not a good thing. Yeah, I have no idea with where it opened or anything like that. It looks like it hit highs of $26.66, and right now it's at around $26. Doesn't look like it sold off too much or anything like that. So natural gas with a big push up. And I thought we were going to begin to sell off, but looks like natural gas is still bullish. Good thing we didn't take a position on that one. We got /NG there. /NQ, my apologies. /CL, still making lower lows, still selling off, getting rejected by that EMA line, which is in favor of DWT, not UWT. So, what's your take on DWT? One of the things that I would point out is I like to focus on when I look at low points, so 58.20 for crude oil. You could see that within this general area, within the past couple of hours, it's not always exact, but it's found a general support, right? Right there, right there, right there, and right there. So as it's sold off, it makes sense on why it could bounce here. So would I pay attention and try to take a position on DWT now? No, because the opportunity cost isn't necessarily worth it. We're at the support range, right? It's not a good deal for DWT anymore. If anything, DWT is now overbought in comparison to, UWT. And I'm not saying that UWT is a buy because it's still selling off. I'm saying that now we're at a critical point where it would begin to make sense to begin to lock in profits for DWT, right? And I think just looking at previous lows, you can make that same judgment. Doesn't mean that it can't continue to sell off. All I'm saying that is that based off previous patterns, it would make sense. It wouldn't be such a surprise if it does reverse here. So because of that, then you need to understand that this isn't a price point. This is not a price point or a range where I would want to focus on taking a position. I would wait a little bit more for confirmation, wait for higher highs, wait for lower lows to see where we're going to continue to go. Appreciate that, Randy. Natural gas still pushing up. Descending pattern with a big sell-off, so we might see a little recovery before it continues to sell off. So would you set an alert then? Yeah, if you find it worthwhile. So if you find it, again, you set alerts on whatever you see value in. It's not about me. It's not about what everyone else is doing. Everyone else can tell you, hey, King C, this is the worst trade. Don't trade it. Don't set your alerts, nothing like that. Who cares what everyone else says, right? We all see value in different ways, and we all see patterns in different ways as well. So if crude oil has been something that you've been wanting to trade, and the opportunity presents itself and it makes sense to you and you think that you can get it for a good deal. So like, let's say because it's consolidating now, that you're going to set your alert here for the break above the EMA line. You're going to wait for UWTs to start making higher highs, and even then you're going to slowly add more to your position size. If you have a plan, if you have some form of risk management, then it does not matter what everyone else is doing or saying, because, again, if it makes sense to you, then that's what's most important. There we go. Look at that. Natural gas. So what caused this? Just a little random spike for the boys or what? So natural gas rises after a drop in storage. But that was 1 hour ago. So looks like it's still picking up. Huge volume right there. Yeah. Not much kind of going on for natural gas. It's just continuing to rally. I, as of right now, think natural gas is too overbought. So probably not going to take a position on that. So we'll have to see, and we'll see if actually in crude oil, right? If crude oil actually begins to reverse, then maybe we can run the idea of following up with this and seeing if it makes sense. Natural gas pushing up. That was a 1% push. That was pretty aggressive. Okay, what do you guys think about this? MACD, RSI. I see that. Nice, Thomas. Looks iffy. No, I get that. So again, we're approaching the general support area based off previous patterns, waiting for higher highs to be made. Do we wait for the break above the middle VWAP on CL? Again, that's up to you to decide. My biggest focus is always just, do you have a clear direction of where things are going, right? So this is all, and this is different for everyone, but the more comfortable you feel with the pattern and the direction going in your favor, the more comfortable you're going to feel to take a position or a larger position or a full position with whatever it is that you are trading, right? So when you ask that question, you need to have the idea in mind that the focus is not, it doesn't matter, I want it to break above the middle VWAP or the SMA line. Like, that's not the intention. The indicators are irrelevant. It's the price action and the higher highs and higher lows that are actually coming into effect that are influencing that trade, right? Because then the direction is in your favor. So should you wait for something? Should you wait for it to push up at the SMA line, pull back, see if it bounces off the EMA line and continues to make higher highs? You should wait for whatever focus you have in getting that confirmation. If that's middle VWAP for you, cool. If that's higher highs, or if that's a push up, pull back, and then making higher lows, then so be it, right? There's so many different ways that we all see confirmation. But it's not indicators that I think I would personally focus on. It's more of the direction, and do you have a clear direction, right? Because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? But it doesn't matter. Like, indicators, let's say you're trading with $100,000, indicators are not really gonna motivate you or give you that peace in mind to take $100,000 position size, right? It's and think about it when you're about to take a position. If you see the direction and the pattern and there's continuous highs in your favor, it's going to build confidence. If there's a track record and you give it even more time for it to continue to push up, make higher highs, higher lows, all that good stuff, then that's going to motivate you or make you feel more comfortable in taking that larger position size. So oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean it to be. Oh, I apologize. The whole reason that I said it like that is because I want to empower you to, you know, not worry so much about the indicators, because indicators are just a reference that I personally go off of, right? They're just something that we look at to have a better understanding of what's going on. But what's most important to me, and I think that a lot of people can agree, is when that direction is in your favor, it's a whole different story, right? And that pattern is in your favor and it's continuous and you can track it back, then there's a lot more confidence that I think that comes behind that pattern than any indicator in my eyes. But let me know what you think. Wow, look at that. Natural gas just popped up. It was doing a little bit of consolidation and then a quick little push up. So you guys are super, super bullish. So I like that. Again, Thomas, and there's no right or wrong to that, right? Like, I'm sure a lot of people maybe have tested that, hey, I'm only going to take positions if they're above the middle view up and stuff like that. And it might not work for them, but for you, you maybe give it a little bit more time, not just to break above the middle VWAP, but to trade above it, right? And to build a pattern or to build some form of direction. And I think that's what's important. It's like, you take an idea and you run with it, right? That makes sense to you. There it goes, 2.69. This thing is filling a gap. Wow. Look at that. Guys, I don't know if degas season is going to be coming anytime soon. This is crazy. It's already up 6% on the day. I would look into it a little bit more about why Tesla's down, if I'm not mistaken. They said that people were divided based off of the look of the car, what they actually expect the total orders to be, which is really the main thing. And then also the cracked windshield that was supposed to be cracked or shatterproof, shattered. So I don't know if you saw the windows. It actually caught me by surprise. I thought it was a joke when I saw it crack, and yeah, no, I don't think it was. I put a little meme at it on YouTube, on Instagram, but it was just poking fun. I still think it's cool, right? But yeah, definitely not the best. Yeah, no, Justin's reaction was funny. I think a lot of people's reaction were fun. Oh, I don't know who that number is, but I guess we're just gonna have it there. Alabama. Bad time to get a spam call, huh? Alrighty. At least it didn't go through the class. Oh, alright, Tristan. Maybe a little no trade November, no trade Friday. What do you guys think? Natural gas isn't making, or crude oil isn't making higher highs yet. We're doing a lot of consolidation. So again, if it builds a resistance here, we can definitely see crude oil continue to sell off. Natural gas, no question, it's more bullish than I expected. And again, it's due to fundamentals, not just technicals, right? And this comes after the news that natural gas rises after a drop in storage. And I don't know how much longer that news is going to be relevant, but you could see that there is a slight, obviously, volume increase as we got into normal trading hours. So I want to see if this thing builds up enough and then pulls back. Again, you only need one or two, maybe one or two trades, right, to hit your daily goal. And there's no reason to force it when maybe, the direction is in your favor on natural gas, but it's so overbought that you don't know how much more it's going to continue to push up. Or you're trying to predict the reversal of the other one when there's no clear confirmation that it's even going to reverse. So, or destroy your account. Yeah. I think it's best. I think it's best if we just take a little bit of a step back. I don't know about you guys, but even with crude oil, I know a lot of you guys were thinking about taking a position on UWT. I'm really glad we broke it down very quickly, that although we did, break it down, that it was in this like good deal range. Just because it's a good deal doesn't mean it's a good buy, right? And I think that we can all agree on that. So, and then when it comes down to /NG, of course, if you're in UGAS already, or if you were in UGAS during as it began to rally, I would be holding too, because there's no break of pattern, right? But those that are not in UGAS already, this thing's a little bit too overbought in my opinion, to try to, it looks like, oh wow, look, 2.70. Ooh. Look at that. It's pushed up 3% since market open. 2.74. Holy smokes. $15, 1501, 1502, 1503, 1505. This thing's gapping up. Just on that push, it was 2%. It's up 8% on the day. Look at that RSI. Yeah. A little different, right? Back at 1506. Guys, volume is absolutely crazy right now on, that was like a little natural gas report on natural gas. So of course I sold you guys yesterday, right? Well, it comes with the territory. So there it goes, pulling back a little bit. That's a pretty aggressive pullback. That's about 1% within itself. Let's see. Oh, I can't see it. Yeah. Yeah, so again, no reason to rush the process. Guys, have fun with it. Don't even feel forced to take a position if there's no clear direction. It looks like crude oil is trying to consolidate. We'll see if we actually begin to make higher highs right on over here on UWT, as this one would be pretty interesting if we do, or if we actually begin to sell off, and then again it's in favor of DWT. But just remember that you have the option of going into either or, right? So there's no reason to favor one or the other. Go with the flow, allow that opportunity to present itself, have some form of risk management, and enjoy the process. So not terrible pullback. Well, I would say that's a pretty aggressive pullback, but after a big push, probably caused a lot of people to try to jump on in, hit highs of 115, and then pull back to 115. So that's 1% within itself. Looks like it's trying to pick right back up again. We'll see what happens there. So Ricky, but took profit on UGAS, 6%. I like that. So there it goes, beginning to pull back a little bit. So I like that. So and remember, trend is your friend. Took me way too long to get that through my skull. So alrighty, team, guys, it's Friday. Thank you, Mohammed. That was an aggressive push up. Natural gas pushing back up again. There it goes. Can we make higher highs on crude oil? I was about to close out the live stream. Let's see. We're gonna get any action on this. No, it looks like we'll have to wait. Yeah, it's pulling back a little bit. All right, no worries, team. CGC. Oh, I don't like these. Isn't this the penny stock? Am I incorrect? Okay, no, it was just the one that was uptrending as it's an overall descending pattern. So, Ricky, can you break down? I bought it at around 14, sold yesterday, and great 30% gain. Yeah, again, it does make sense on why it did reverse. I would say that you could see its volume that it experienced with its normal volume, and that was definitely not normal. I would say that it's an overall descending pattern, so just looking at how it's trading and how it's now getting rejected, it would make sense that it would continue to sell off. Yes, it can bounce here and it can continue to push up, but I would say that volume or that rally was probably very short-lived, as it doesn't last for a very long time and then it just continues to sell off. So I would take my profits, I would walk away and call it a day with that specific trade. So I wouldn't even sweat it. Congrats on that trade. So definitely comes at a risk, right? So, oh, crude oil is being pushed up. Showing a little bit more signs of resistance for natural gas. Is this the end of the rally? We shall see. 1 day 5 minute chart. I want to see how this looks. Wow, looks interesting, right? Look at that push. Quick analysis on UPS. Looks like it is showing signs of a reversal. Based off of previous highs, that would be right around the 123 to 125 range. Looking at the pattern on the overall day, definitely very overextended, very overbought. I don't know how much this thing normally pushes, but I would look at the 5 day 5 minute chart to see if I see a pattern. Looks like it's on the first day of a potential reversal. So again, you could easily see that there that it was aggressively selling off. It began to consolidate. It was finding some form of support at the SMA line. It pushed up. Will it pull back before it continues to push up? Most likely. And it looks like it's very overbought on the day. So it looks like there's a little pattern that we got going on here that it's holding above the EMA line. If you want to trade that, then that's up to you as taking it as a day trade. But if you're going in for a swing trade, then maybe I would look in for a better deal or wait for some form of pullback to give me a better understanding that, we're getting in for a good deal as something is showing signs in the very early stages of a potential reversal. So there it goes. Crude oil is already pulling back. So again, don't be afraid to lock in profits. So, all right, team. Hope and wish you guys an amazing weekend. For all those that don't take a trade today and going to call it an early start to the weekend, thank you guys again for tuning in. Again, don't feel empowered to force a trade. Allow that opportunity to present itself. Set those alerts. If they get triggered and it does end up happening, then great, so be it. Manage that risk. But other than that, let's keep it simple. Let's enjoy the process. And again, like we've said, the trend is your friend, and let's go with the flow. So let's get good deals. Let's manage that risk, and let's lock in those profits. Really do appreciate you guys' time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.